Hello, my friends. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2. It has been far too long since we've come back to this game. There's a couple reasons for that, most of which are that the pace of updates has been super slow with this, which is fine. But I figured it's been over a year, which is insane to me, since this game was released. It was February 23rd of last year, 2023, when this came out. So today we're going to do sort of a one-year review of Kerbal Space Program 2. What has changed? What's gotten better? Are the rockets still wobbly? And is it worth your time and money? So let's jump right in and find out. So in honor of the recent Starship launch on March 14th, 2024, Pi Day, if you're not familiar, we're going to build a Starship-esque craft today. That ship is going to have the idea of, we're going to have a booster and a ship, and we're going to try to get them both, or get the ship rather, up to orbit and then return it safely to the water, perhaps, possibly to the ground. We shall see. Probably not. Even the real Starship is yet to be actually reused, but the way SpaceX does it is they have the super heavy booster on the bottom, which is basically a big powder keg, almost, and then stacked on top of that is the Starship rocket, which is actually a reusable ship. Both have fuel tanks, both have engines, and both are intended to be fully reusable, which is cool and a novel concept. But anyway, I'm going to build the ship, and then we're going to test it out. We're going to see how much this game has changed since it was released, and we're going to have a little fun along the way. So I've just about finished the version 1 of our version of Starship, which I'm calling the Starliner. And this ship it's going to be interesting. We have no Kerbal's lives at risk. Actually, I am going to add one, but you'll see about that in a minute. I have some comments already about how things have improved. For one thing, the editor still has its moments where it's janky or something breaks. Like, you'll notice when you watch that I had a hard time attaching this fairing, because what's really going on here is it's attached to the engine, but the problem is this, it's not a fairing, it's a stack separator. It's only attached to that one engine instead of this engine plate. There's probably a way to do that if I did it correctly, but we're not trying to be super perfect here. Besides that though, general stability, I'm pretty impressed with the improvement they've made. Yeah, so far so good, I would say. Let's go over a little bit about the rocket that we've created today. So, first things first, let's talk about our booster. So this is our version of Super Heavy. The real Super Heavy has some very large number, which I don't remember off the top of my head, of Raptor engines on the bottom of it here on basically what is an engine plate. I think it's like 36 or something ridiculous. And then is just basically a massive fuel tank. Now, I've added these grid fins here to help us successfully descend, which in all reality, I'm probably just going to ditch this booster and we're going to forget that it ever existed. But we want it to be theoretically reusable. So you'll notice I added a few modules up here as well to sort of work us towards that goal. So we have a rechargeable battery, we have a remote guidance unit, and actually, I believe that's it for this one. There's no reaction wheels, which probably is a poor decision. And then we have the actual Starliner itself, which is basically just the same as Starship. One massive Methalox fuel tank, a few cargo bays right towards the front, a cargo nose, flaps here that can sort of control our attitude once we're re-entering the atmosphere. And we also have up here another rechargeable battery, a remote guidance unit, and an actual reaction wheel stabilizer. So, I also just remembered that the last time I played Kerbal Space Program, I'm pretty certain that there was no heating, and I'm also pretty certain that now there is heating. So we're gonna see what happens. I probably should put a heat shield on this thing, but let's see. Do I even have that option? Also, big update. I'll cover this later in the video, but there is science now in the game. We have all these science instruments that you can now add to your ships. There's also more communication stuff. Let's see, thermal. Yeah. So these, yeah, these are intended to be put on the bottom of the ship. See, this is what's actually crazy to me as well, is the pace of innovation in space right now is absurdly fast. So much so that this video game doesn't even have all of the like features and design ideas that have been imagined. For example, like we don't have the option to just put heat tiles on this thing like the real Starship has. I think that's awesome, and one of many reasons why you should become an engineer. That's the ploy. This channel has always been about making you be an engineer. But anyway, let's get our staging right here. So we definitely don't want those engines firing first. We want all of these firing first. Okay, so let's do a new stage. Move this out. 4 engines. 4 engines. And then the one on the bottom, this one, we want to fire as well. We will burn as long as we can. And then this is something that SpaceX actually does a lot of, or actually I think they're the first ones that have done it, but it's called hot staging, which is where the engines on the second stage actually start firing before the ship is even separated. So you can think of it as like if you're in a car, right, a stick shift car, when you go to shift up, so you say you're accelerating, you go to shift up, you push the clutch in, and for a split second while you're shifting, you're no longer accelerating. In this configuration, you can basically think of it as your car just instantly shifts and never stops accelerating. There's no point where you are just sort of coasting. So that's our staging, pretty nice and simple. I am almost certain that this is not going to work on the first try. These things never do. It's just a fact of life. And that is fine, you know, no problems there. In fact, let's hold it up top here. Yeah, and we can hold it here so that we don't get any interference with the fins. Will these? Yeah, okay. All right, so again, it's time to test. I don't know why the Delta V just went way down, but we'll see what happens. I don't think that's actually accurate. I don't think this will succeed. We'll see it through and sort of flesh the design out a little more if we need to, but I am excited to see how this works. All right, so here we are on the launch pad with our Aquilae Starliner. Again, this is a robot guidance ship, so no Kerbal's lives are at risk today, even though I kind of wanted to risk them anyway. I don't know why we're sitting so far off the ground, but this is an absolutely cool looking ship. What we're actually going to do is fire the engines first, so that we get up to speed, and then we will separate the clamps and begin our ascent. And since the engines have thrust vectoring, we should be able to do all of our steering with those, and I'm actually going to... is there a way to disable these? I guess not. Yeah, okay. We'll just hope they don't mess things up. Alright, here goes everybody. Engines on and clamps away. The ascent begins. Holy cow, we are burning through fuel quickly. Oh yeah, and it is extremely, holy cow. Extremely, that's a lot of thrust vectoring, like. All right, here we go. I always get a little too eager on these ascents and manage to flip the rocket. It's a common problem I have. Looks like we're accelerating pretty good. We're burning through fuel like nobody's business. We want to pitch over here. Okay, excellent. So far, so good. We want about a 45-degree angle here. And things are looking great. So far, so good. All right, 45 degrees. Come on, buddy. Come on. Now, the really cool prospect about Starship in real life is that the rocket eventually will be able to land on another body like the moon or Mars or something. And theoretically, if we were able to make rocket fuel on one of those planets, it could refuel and then go further out into the solar system or elsewhere, which would be amazing. All right, so we're gonna get ready for hot staging here. Hot staging might blow up the rocket, actually. So let's save. It's very possible that this is not a special staging ring, it's just a normal one, so very possible that this thing just explodes right now. But we actually, are we already? Not quite, okay. Our apoapsis is 48,000. We want to get that over 70 and then we can coast. All right, so let's get ready. Almost time for hot staging. Okay. And burn. Switch. Okay, wait. Okay, that didn't quite work as intended. There's a way to do this. I have to switch to this ship. I think I can do it from here. Control? No. There's a remote guidance unit in here. Oh. Did that just do it? Oh, it did. Oh, I just double clicked on it. Okay. This is a little weird. That might be a problem, but let's go ahead and enter the next stage of flight here. Okay. Oh, we were throttled down for some reason? Strange. Okay, very weird. Also, our SAS is not functioning, and neither was our reaction control. Okay, this is just like the real Starship flight. If you guys watched it live, SpaceX had some problems keeping it oriented the direction it was supposed to be, which made for a very interesting flight, and that's actually part of the reason why it got barbecued in the atmosphere. But there we go, and our apoapsis is above 70,000. So we're going to get this thing to point prograde as it wiggles its engines at us. And then once we arrive at our apoapsis, we will fire the engines and we will get this thing. What is that? What? What? What is that doing there? Okay, so it's still buggy. The game is still buggy, guys. Like, oh, and that's still attached. Okay, well that's definitely gonna create problems. So actually, I'm gonna deactivate that engine and disable the gimbal on it. No, what? I'm confused. We might be in danger here, guys. Okay, yeah. Because we're supposed to fire the boosters right now. Oh, okay. What is it doing? Oh, no. Okay, how about... Yeah, that... I'm sorry, Kerbal Space Program developers. I promise I did not do this on purpose. This thing is freaking out. It looks like a little flounder. What is our orbit doing right now? It's... What? Where am I? What's going on? Oh. Why, Kerbal Space Program? Why? Oh, this is tragic. I knew this was going to happen. It's that fairing. It caused problems for us. Okay, we're going to have to go back to the VAB. I don't know what this screen is. Okay, well, that speaks for itself. I'm not going to beat it to death. Obviously, the game still has bugs and stability issues, but, you know, what can you do? It's how it goes. But I do wish I could complete a flight without issues like that. So let's see what actually happened down here. So maybe the problem and the solution is actually... So let's separate this. Okay, and then let's take the... Can I take this ring off, or is it just attached? There we go. Okay, let's remove this. Okay, no. Oh, it's gonna be difficult about it, isn't it? Okay, guys, I'm gonna take a second to figure this out. I'll be right back. Alrighty, everybody, so I made some small changes, and I did a little test run with the decoupler, and everything seems to be working as it's supposed to. But you know how it is with these things. They never work how they're supposed to. So we're gonna try this again. We're gonna do some hot staging. So I gotta get this configured properly. And lump that in with those and get rid of this. Okay, alright. Let's try this again. Here we go. And we're off. Perfect. Perfect launch. Excellent. No Kerbals on this one, so I don't think they do the countdown. Let's pitch east slowly and gently because this thing has way too much attitude control from its gimbals. We want to aim for about a 45-degree angle here. Oh, that's not good. You see, these streamlines, you want those to be aligned with your rocket because that means that you're sort of going in the direction that the rocket's pointing. Otherwise, the air resistance is going to hit this unevenly and it's going to cause you to spin. So basically, you want to be aligned with this prograde ball, but I think that this thing is so darn heavy that it just can't do that. It sort of has to fly at this angle. Which you actually, I mean, maybe you could, like, you know, get some lift out of these stabilizers if you wanted to. I don't know. Seems to be accelerating good. We'll get ready for our hot staging here. Also during my test flight... Oh, what's... That must be a heat bar. Oh, is that going to blow up? That might be a problem. Okay, fire the engines ahead of schedule. We lost the booster. Oh no. Okay, wait. Now I'm curious. Okay. Alright. We're gonna save. We're gonna try to recover the booster because it just conveniently happened to fall off with, like, just the right amount of fuel left. So let's say save the booster. Okay, booster. There we go. Alright. Now, we gotta switch to that. So, can I just click on it like I did before? Come on, let me click on it. Okay. Alright, fine. There we go. Nope, didn't work. Okay, I can't... Oh, here we go. So, super booster. We'll just call it super booster. Super booster. Alright, great. Control. Observer can't leave active vessel. I don't know what that means. So let's just go back to the Starliner, I guess. Alright, we want to continue our ascent. I guess we're not recovering the booster right now. That's fine. So let's continue. We want to get our apoapsis above 70,000. And then we can cut the engines and do a prograde burn at 70,000 meters. So I like to get it up to like 74 usually. That's fine. Okay, great. Now we can tell the rocket to use its RCS and orient prograde. But do it very gently. One of the earliest problems with this game, and it was a huge thing for me because I love to build planes too, is that the RCS and stability control systems just were not doing it for me. Like, they developed this oscillation at a certain point that it just didn't work well. But I think that's gotten better. So now just a little demonstration, a few demonstrations while we're up here. We can open the cargo bay doors. Yeah, very nice. We got multiple of those. They overlap with the flaps, which is kind of a problem, but it's okay because fake rocket. And we'll do the cargo bay nose in a moment after we get to a stable orbit here, but it's still oscillating. You see that? And it shouldn't be because it has all the control it needs to stabilize itself, which is why it's a little weird. There we go. Maybe, like, why does it tend that way? Maybe if I just lock it. All right. Let us do our burn. Per grade burn. Gently, and then ramp up to full. Oh no, sticky keys. Oh no. Okay, we're back. Okay, good. Now, what we're trying to do here is get our periapsis to be above 70,000 meters because that means we have achieved orbit. But we don't want to use all of our fuel doing it because if we do, then we have no way to get back to Earth. This is actually a pretty good burn. You want to burn right even with the horizon line here. It looks like you can see our periapsis dropping, and that corresponds with eventually this point where we hit the Earth goes around the Earth. Oh, she's oscillating, but it's fine. Okay, it's going up, and fine-tune it a little bit. We are now orbital. Ladies and gentlemen, the Aquilae Starliner is orbital. Haha, we beat Boeing. Perfect. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on stability for now. Great. Okay, we made it. It actually worked. I'm surprised. So let's unveil some of our features here. We have these lovely solar panels. Can extend them all. They also double as air braking. Might be good just to charge the battery because the RCS system uses a battery. And let's see what else we got. So yeah, those face the sun. That's pretty cool. And then we can open the cargo nose. So you could imagine, you know, in the future, SpaceX might store a rover in there or a bunch of Starlink satellites. They already are releasing Starlinks using other rockets, but I think generally they release them from these cargo bays. So, I mean, that's pretty darn cool. And you could actually perform like a larger satellite delivery using this ship just like that. Now that is that's the easy part. Recovering this thing, that's another story. Because we have no real control going through the atmosphere. So what I'm gonna do is close all these cargo bays. Let's get this thing all back together. And then we are going to attempt a landing. It's probably not gonna go well. We're gonna attempt it. All right, let's take a look at our orbit and plan. That's a pretty nice orbit, actually. That might be one of the better ones I've ever done. Let's kick time forward a little. Why not? 50x. That's our space station there, or our star launch station. I don't know what to call it. Ground station. All right, there we go. Let's stop here. Okay. Now, we want to basically flip retrograde. So please do that. And then we're going to burn retrograde, which is going to bring our orbit down. So let's do that. Slowly, but surely. Okay, we've already done that. And we want our periapsis to drop right on this here. Okay, let's... That... Oh, okay. That was... I overshot it. We'll aim for a water landing. That'll be easier anyway. Okay, great. So now we've done our retrograde burn. We want to face prograde again for re-entry. And this thing is going to do a great job. I just know it's not going to burn up. If I was a good editor, I would cut to the part later in the video where the rocket burns up. But we're not there yet. It just loves to wiggle around like that. And this, again, I'm probably just doing that wrong. I don't think that's the fault of the developers. Okay, let's spin a little less fast. There we go. It's beautiful. If it stops oscillating. There it is. Very nice. One of these days I will attempt an interplanetary mission. Maybe with this platform, honestly. This thing worked out pretty well. I'm kind of surprised. Normally, my crafts don't work out this well. So what's going to happen now, and this is the great part, is we are just going to re-enter the atmosphere with no interference. You'll watch our altitude start to drop. Let's actually speed time up a little here. Yep, it's already dropping. I think once we drop below 80K, we will be in the atmosphere once again. And then we're going to hold on for dear life and try to control this thing and hope it doesn't burn up. Okay, folks, get ready for a long and stressful reorbit process here. A re-entry, not reorbit. I do not know what I'm talking about today. My brain is too filled with engineering. It just spits out jumbled garbage sometimes, like an old computer. Alright, so as you can see on our rocket meter here, we are slowly descending back into the atmosphere. I mean, actually, we're not going very slowly at all, but it's fine. The goal will be to sort of use this belly flop approach here to use the surface area of the rocket to slow us down, because the air resistance of the atmosphere is actually what enables us to land. And then once we get really close, we're going to try to flip it so that the rocket is pointing retrograde. We will burn the thrusters to attempt to slow us down to an acceptable speed to hit the water. So this is actually what the SpaceX test, the IFT-3 test, was supposed to accomplish, although I don't think they ever expected to recover Starship. I think they just expected it to slam into the ocean and maybe there would be some pieces left over. But hey, I could be wrong. So we're actually coming down quite nicely now. Also, again, I feel like I'm talking about this non-stop, but if you haven't watched the flight test of Starship most recently, watch the re-entry video and you will see live footage of plasma forming around the structure of the rocket, which is something that's never been done before and I think is absolutely amazing. I mean, the fact that the camera could survive plasma forming temperatures is pretty incredible, if you ask me. Alright, and actually you can speak of the devil. Here's the plasma. So, we look to be decently stable. Re-entering here, although the heat is building. Nope. Oh, I should not have done that. Pitch down, pitch down. Oh, it's flipping. Okay, so I guess we don't have quite enough attitude control. This might be a problem. Honestly, if it has to face a direction, I guess retrograde is fine. Sure, if you want to do that, Booster, or Starship, Starliner, whatever you are, you can do that. Oh boy, we actually might be on land. That's actually worse now, because, oh yeah. That's bad. That means it's gonna burn up. That is gonna be a problem. We're gonna lose it. Can I decelerate this thing? The rocket engines will probably just build heat. Oh. It's still building heat, though. Don't blow up, please. Oh, no. Well, we've lost our engines, but we still have our courage. The engines aren't working, even though they floated off the ship. There's still a chance we survive this, although it's looking pretty bad. Oh, I don't even know how to approach this. At this point, we just have to wait for re-entry to be over. Yeah, and if we land on land, there's no chance. We're done for. Well, I'm glad I didn't put Kerbals in this thing. Alright, can we belly flop it now? Come on, oscillate. One more. Flip over. Come on. Flip forward. Oh, the whole thing's gonna explode now. Oh, come on. Oh, there's most of our attitude adjustment. We've entered tumble territory, ladies and gentlemen. Can we get it? Can we get pergrade? No. Retrograde is our only option. What is burning? Oh, the actual fuel tank is burning. I mean, this is a strategy to land if I had a heat shield. And actually, we are now through the tough part of re-entry. Only problem is we're still traveling faster than the speed of sound, and we're rapidly approaching the ground. Okay, well, look, we tried. We tried. Okay, honestly, at this point, it's better if it just hits the ground like this. Open the cargo bays, let the good stuff out. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Going for the ground. Oh, look. What is that? Is that the engine plate? I guess we'll never know. Anyway, I would call that a moderate success. Let's do a little mission debrief and talk about what just happened. Alrighty, so I would say our little rocket did pretty well. I mean, I think, like, it didn't succeed, but that's not always a bad thing, because it's not always about ending the mission in a success. It's about learning from it and seeing what you can do better. But anyway, the whole point of this video and why I decided to come back to Kerbal Space Program 2 is because I stopped playing it a while ago on the assumption that not much had changed and progress hadn't really been made as much as I had hoped. I think this video shows that while there are still big issues, if you save frequently and approach the game from a perspective that's not super serious, then you're going to have a lot of fun. Also, one thing that I mentioned earlier in the video but didn't talk about yet is there is a new For Science mode, which if you guys are interested, comment on this video and I will consider pursuing that. But basically, you just put science bits on your ship, like this one, and you go to space, you do some science, and you unlock new parts by doing that. So I think that could be a cool series, maybe. I think it's cool that they finally added that to the game, because up until this point it was kind of like, make up a mission for yourself and then go do it. Which is fun to a point, but at some point, you know, you need an objective. That's how these things work. I should have put an emergency parachute on our Starliner. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If Kerbal Space Program 2 is something you want to see more of, I am super passionate about this stuff. I could play it all day for many hours. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see a science-style exploration playthrough, if that's something that interests you, and anything else you'd like to see in this game. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.